The best piece of advice I have for someone trying to succeed in the film industry or any creative space is if you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're doing it wrong.
One of the best to ever do it.
What is freedom? I think I stole this from Bob Dylan, but maybe I stole this from Woody Guthrie. Freedom for me is waking up in the morning and going to sleep at night, and in between doing exactly what I want to do. What's the secret to happiness? The secret to happiness is finding something you love and then doing that for the rest of your life.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Site Review Tuesday. I'm Robert with Zenfolio Customer Success, and I want to say thank you for joining me. Now, here in a minute, we're going to get to reviewing one of your websites, and I do want to point out that while this has been pre-recorded, I'm hanging out in the chat, interacting with you guys live and answering your questions. Now, if you're interested in having your website reviewed, there's a link in the description below this video where you can submit your site. And in addition to getting a site review, I also offer a one-on-one session to each photographer who has had a site review done to help them answer any questions or assist in making any changes that they may want to make. Now, don't forget, we also live stream every Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, so I hope to see you there. Let's get into the site review.
Hey guys, happy Tuesday. This is Richard with Zenfolio Customer Success, and today we are going to be looking at Mike Singer Photography. That URL is mikesinger-photography.com. Mike, we really appreciate you submitting your site for review. I'm excited to hop in, so let's get to it. I really like the full screen layout for the homepage. It's really nice. I'm seeing a lot of different work you do. Some landscapes, we're seeing some dance photographs. Back here, that's fantastic, and even some nature photographs. That owl kind of was staring me down when I first got on. That's awesome. This kind of shows your visitors, it shows me that you shoot a lot of different things, which is very important, especially in photography, so good on you for that. I did see a little bit of redundancy in regards to this photograph and I think the next one. So I would recommend just picking your favorite out of those. We kind of want to avoid any redundancy, like I said, within your home page. We want to kind of provide as much variety as we can, so right off the bat they know that you shoot a lot of different things. Also notice that you have social media logos right on your homepage. That's fantastic, or social media buttons, should I say, linking to all your different social media accounts. That's awesome. Hopefully, let's go check it out. One thing I recommend kind of when you have this going is that we have a link back to your website. That's awesome. That's really good right there, so we can see that you're active in a lot of different places other than just on your website. All right, so let's hop right into Portfolio. Okay, so I do see a lot of the same genre of photography within these galleries. Cincinnati West, Cincinnati. Okay, so it looks like it's all the same team or all the same soccer tournament. So one thing we need to think about when we're kind of defining what a portfolio gallery is and what that means to your clients is, being able to have variety. Just like I said, you did such a good job on your homepage of showing all the different kinds of work you do. We need to make sure that that kind of resonates throughout our website, especially within our portfolio. I think that the portfolio section of any photographer's website, photographer's website is the most important. that's where we're going to show off that sample work. That's where we pick our clients up. They're going to look at our work, see if we're worth either buying from or buying a session from. So you want to make sure to have all of those different facets of photography that you do nice and organized within here. From going from the homepage from this, it really seems like I've kind of stepped into a different photographer's site. Like I said, you did a fantastic job with that homepage. Let's make sure that we can say the same for that portfolio. And this does seem like something that would fit more within a client gallery site menu rather than your portfolio. This looks very specific. Also, I do have the ability to purchase these prints. We also need to think about privacy in regards to your photographs, right? And also your clients. There's a good chance that your clients don't want anyone that can just stumble across this website online to purchase these prints, and I would agree with them on that. So we want to make sure to just assign price lists to those specific groups and galleries that we want to offer for sale. Now, it's important to be able to offer the ability to purchase prints on a portfolio. Maybe if you do more fine art, or for example, like that owl photograph, I would definitely want to have that hanging up on my wall. So that would be a good example of a portfolio photograph that you would allow for purchasing. But in regards to kind of these niche commission events that you shoot, you may want to just leave the purchasing up to the clients for that. Now, this is mostly in regards to a client gallery. I do understand that we are in a portfolio right now, and I'm kind of getting a little ahead of myself, but I can kind of expound upon that when we get to the client galleries. But let's make sure to show off all that good work you do. I know you shoot a lot more than just soccer players, but within this portfolio, and when any clients, any potential traffic comes to see what kind of photography you shoot, this is all they're seeing. So let's jump into the client galleries and let's see this distinction between the portfolio and client galleries. Okay, so there is a little more variety in here. Unfortunately, I just wish there was that variety in the portfolio. You've done a good job with your layouts. I like the white background. It makes these photographs pop and these thumbnails pop, but we just need to make sure that they are in the correct place so it makes sense for anyone viewing your site. So one thing we also might want to think about is access settings, right? Do we want anyone to be able to view these photographs, and not only view them, but then purchase them? This seems like something that the clients should only have access to. No one should be able to, go to this photograph and purchase it, just like within the portfolio. But especially since this seems very specific. So we'd also want to think about that. Alright, so I like that you have the Kwik Shop. The Kwik Shop is one of my favorite features within Zenfolio when we're talking about the selling platform. Anyone can come onto your site, easily purchase right in the gallery. They can look at their photographs and add them to the cart if they would like. That's awesome. I'm a big fan of that. One thing we might want to think about too in regards to that is maybe only offering products in one area of your website. The Kwik Shop is great, but it can be a little confusing if we have the traditional shop setup available as well. And you can actually toggle that button on and off within a Kwik Shop pages on Customize Website View. You can go to Options, click off of default settings, and only have the Kwik Shop available. The traditional shop page is nice. It looks very nice and clean, but there's a couple more steps that we have to take to purchase. Rather than doing it from the Kwik Shop, we also get taken away from the gallery, if you'll notice too. That's why I kind of push the Kwik Shop over a traditional shopping setup. It's a great incentive to sell more products. You'll like it, your clients will like it, also your pocket will like it. Also, I'm curious, who uses the Kwik Shop Let me know in the chat. I'm very curious to see who uses this setup over this, or maybe use both. I would really like to know. So let me know in the chat, definitely. But you have done good with this. The only thing that I would say is maybe just offer one way to purchase rather than choosing between the two. All right, and you also have your social media portals on the hover over. That's awesome. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with these hover over options and whatever you would like to present on your thumbnails. So I really enjoy that. So back within the client galleries, I am seeing that maybe a client access page would be good for you. I do see how you have this client gallery set up, and that's great and all. But I think it's also important to allow your clients to get to their photos as easily as possible, also without having to sift through the rest of these photographs. So our client access page, it could honestly replace your client galleries page. It's a landing page. It's a feature within Zenfolio of one of our built-in pages, and you can connect it to your site menu, and when someone clicks on that client access site menu option, potentially it takes them to a landing page. They can then enter the gallery ID that you have given them, so they don't have to sift through these photographs. They can go straight to their images. That also adds a layer of protection, right? Like I said, I think we need to practice some access settings on here. I think that would benefit your site a lot. Also your search settings too, possibly. But I think acting as a client, saying that I have access to this gallery and no one else does, you've done a good job with the setup. Absolutely. I always recommend having the buy button on the hover over because it is tucked up here, but it's a lot easier to see that I can purchase from this thumbnail view of all of these images. All right. So in conclusion, with the portfolio and the client galleries, I would say, let's find that distinction. What is a portfolio to you? What would you like to convey within portfolios? Same thing with client galleries. How would we like to further protect these images? How would we like to present these galleries the most efficient and also private way possible, if that is what your clients prefer, which most clients do. They don't want their photographs floating around online, and I think we can all relate to that. So let's go check out your blog. Right, I like that you have the photographs in here. That's awesome. Let's hop into one. So this is the most recent one. I am seeing that your last blog post was February 3rd, 2019. Blogs are a great resource. They can also hurt you. If you don't keep up with it, this could give the message across that, well, maybe the last time that he had a shoot was February 3rd. Maybe he does not shoot anymore. Maybe he's out of business. Maybe this site is old. There's a lot of things that could run through anyone's head when they're visiting your website and see that you have not posted in a couple months. But outside of that, you've done a good job. You put the photo right here, kind of a brief check-in with anyone who wants to see this blog, as well as a link to the gallery. I think that's awesome. That's kind of an extra step that you took. So good on you for that. I would say just to be sure to keep up to date with it. That's good for your clients. That's good for SEO, for people finding you online. It's really beneficial. But like I said, it could also hurt you just as much as it could help you. But I like your blog layouts, and I like that you have some variety, right? This picture right here versus your sports picture. That's something that I would like to see more throughout your website, because I know that you have those good photographs. For example, the homepage and this photograph right here, which is also on the homepage. But I would also like to see that in other places, maybe in your portfolio, so I could possibly view those photographs. That's also going to be good for selling, right? Having these more fine art prints that someone could purchase if they want to, outside of just your client work. So that's also something to think about. So I'm just going to keep moving right down the line. let's go check out your About page. But before we do that, I'm curious. I do not recall seeing this on your home page, the About option, and I don't. So that's something that we might want to think about too. The About page is very important, especially in regards to finding out your location. Where are you? I'm not sure if I can hire you yet because I don't know where you're located, even if I do like your photographs. So that's something that we would want to present on the home page, is where you're located. So I'm going to hop back into one of these other site menu options so we can look at that About page. I like that you have the photograph there. I always recommend our photographers put their photograph there. It kind of gives a face to the brand and to the photography. I can also see where you're located in this, and that's what I was looking for. That's great. I would just like to see that presented on the home page rather than kind of having to navigate your website a little bit to get to that point. You have your contact information as well as your Gmail. That's great. That's fantastic. One thing that you might also do is kind of dive into maybe how you got into photography. Maybe people are curious about your story. You can't share enough on these About pages, in my opinion, but you have the basics there. That's really good. Okay, so on your contact page, I'm seeing some of the same information, which is always good. Your phone number, your address. That's fantastic. I know that I can get a hold of you if I have any questions or anything like that. And I can also go to your different social media sites. So that's fantastic as well. And on that note, I am seeing that you have your Instagram button in your header. You also have it in the footer down here. It's always good to have those buttons, like I said before, but one thing you might want to think about is just having them in one place. So maybe you could just have it on the header or the footer, not to just confuse people. And it does seem a little hidden up here, as opposed to down here with the rest of them. So that's also something that you would like to think about. I'm a big fan of the footer also. If we get into a gallery of yours that has a lot of photographs on it, instead of having to scroll back up to the top, we can just access all this information from the bottom as we would like. And you have that About page in there, which is really nice too. Right, so kind of summing up how this website functions, your layouts are great. The white background, these photos really pop. I love that you have that Kwik Shop going on. It makes it really easy for people to navigate. There's just a couple of things that we may be able to work on. Most importantly, that distinction between the portfolios and the client galleries. I would say that is the most important thing to your clients. How are they going to access these photographs? How can they view all the different kinds of work you do? And like I said, right when I started navigating your website a little more, it did seem like a different photographer's website. Not that these photographs were not up to par. It's just that the content that is on your home page seems a lot different than what's going on in here. And it is good to have examples of client work. Absolutely. That's how you're going to get more clients. That's how you're going to get more traction. But it's also good to just show off the different facets of your photography, because why not? If you have that under your belt, who knows what someone is looking for? Maybe someone would like to buy some fine art prints from you. I know that, like I said before, I'd love to have that owl hanging up in my house staring me down. So that's also something to consider as well. And just organization overall. I'm noticing that within this portfolio, that when we hop in one of these galleries, there's not a lot of work. So we may be able to consolidate this just into one portfolio gallery. So you could have a sports gallery, you could have a fine art gallery, you could have a wrestling gallery, a dance gallery, a lot of different ones. I'm a photographer myself. I shoot just about everything under the sun. I want to make sure that all of those different sides of me are being shown off. Absolutely. But you've done a good job with the titles. Like I said, you've done a good job with the hoverovers. That's fantastic. That buy button, that Kwik Shop, I think that you've really done a good job with that. there's just a couple of things that we could possibly expound upon. Definitely. Also, I'm not sure if you have a logo, but logos are great brand-wise for your page. This is the display name. When you put that logo on, it will replace this display name. This display name is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but just a personal preference. It's always good to have something visual to relate to your brand and kind of build that identity. Also, going back into the client galleries, something we want to consider is, like I said before, these access settings. Some of these should probably be locked just because of the content in them. Right when I said it, that's great. So you do have a couple of galleries locked. That's great. I might want to just make that a default for all of your client galleries. Maybe assign different access settings to each client gallery with those passwords and allocate them out as you already have done right here. So let's see if you have them on others. Alright, so this one is wide open. This one is also a little bit empty. This kind of goes back to how people could view your site if they see that outdated blog. It's kind of the same feeling when they get to a gallery that does not have a lot in it. Maybe this website is not active. Maybe you've deleted some of these photographs and they're somewhere else on the website. So that's also something to consider as well, to kind of fill this up with as much work as you can. And if you don't have enough to fill up a gallery, I always recommend 25 images, something like that, or plus 25 plus. If you don't, think about where you could put this photograph within another portfolio so it's very easy to find and your stuff is not spread out. But we are down to the last 15 seconds. All in all, you've done a good job, Mike. There's just a couple things we can work on, like this organization up here with the portfolio and client galleries. So I appreciate everyone tuning in. Y'all have a great rest of your weekend.
Hey, thank you guys so much for watching that site review. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you click that subscribe button and hit the little bell icon so you get notified when we post videos and when we go live. Now, if you're interested in having your site reviewed, there's a link in the description below this video where you can submit your website for that. And in addition to getting a site review, you're also going to get a link where you can schedule a session with me. We're going to go over your website, go over the review. I'll answer any questions that you have and help you make any changes that you're interested in making. So the link to sign up for that is in the description below this video. Now, don't forget Zenfolio Live coming up this Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Hope to see you guys there. Until then, I hope you have a great week.